Good evening and welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm Steve Leahy. How are you guys doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so how's everyone doing? How is their Monday going? Good? I hope so. We're going to jump right into this because we're still going to give away a painting tonight, but I don't have any new paintings to show you because it was a wild week. Trying to get a bunch of stuff done. My beautiful daughter and brand new son-in-law are getting married this weekend, so it's been kind of all hands on deck to get ready for that. So I don't have a painting for you, and it is very likely that there may not be a time-lapse for tomorrow or open studio for this week, or possibly next week. I don't know. So we'll see. But anyway, we got this airbrush holder to finish up. The fun thing about this one is SprayGunner will be giving this one away. So as soon as I get it done and finished up, I'll send it to them and they'll be announcing how they're going to do that. So it'll be a lot of fun for that. And that's what we got. So even though I don't have a painting for tonight, we're still going to draw a name. Someone's going to win and they can go on my site and pick out any of the 543s they want. There's a ton of them in there. So that's what we're going to do. The only other bit of housekeeping is I pinned the comment to the top. I'll show the code in a second, but the fall sale is going on through the end of this week. So if you want to grab something and save a bunch of money, this is the week to do it. You just type in fall 25 at the end when you're checking out. In the code section, it'll give you 20% off everything in your cart. So that's fun. So do that. And yeah, let's turn around and get going. So this is our little airbrush holder. I'll say hi to everyone. Nice. What's up, Swamp? What's going on? Mr. Moore, hello. Brian, I missed a couple comments from you last week. The challenge is something I'm going to do, but I got to get by all this stuff right now. So I'm not sure when we're going to pull that together, but I think that was a good idea. So keep that going. Hello, Auntie Paula. What's up? Dan Mayer, what's good? Deirdre, what's happening? Mr. Reeves, what is up? Hey, Rhea, what's going on? Yay. All right. So here's the, I'll pull this out. I'm going to get you guys closer too, but here's the airbrush holder. We're going to come pretty close to finishing this up today. There might be some odds and ends that I got to deal with, but we're going to finish up the mask today and the straps and all that fun stuff. But if I rotate this, you can see all the gold is in. I did have to touch up a little bit of the gold, but it wasn't bad. So there was that. But all in all, it's coming together pretty well. Gary Shees, what's up? So Gary's here, so I want to throw out a special thank you to Gary. Gary was guilty of a super chat last week, which was awesome. So I appreciate that, Gary. Thank you so much. What else we got? Todd, what's happening? Yay. All right, so I'm going to get the camera a lot closer because we're going to start with a little bit of a cleanup on this, and then we're going to get to doing this mask. So let me get you guys a lot closer to what we're working on. Move some lights. Get this lined up. I did finish the big commission that I was working on too that needed to be done. So that's exciting. And I have a bunch of fun stuff coming up with a bunch of fun people like London Pen and your friend and mine. I don't know if he's here yet. Western Massacre Lock Sport, also known as Patrick. No, what am I thinking of? I'm looking at Patrick here. Brian Moore, that's what happened. I was distracted. What's up, Brian? So anyway, I'll be working on, thank you, Brian, so much. That's amazing. I'll be working on a fun project with Western Massacre or your friend and mine, Mr. Cheese Grits and NyQuil. So that's going to be a fun thing too. I'll definitely be able to do some of that live as well, but I'll fill you in on that. All right. So here it is. So what we're going to do first is, I've already done a bunch of this, but I'll take you guys in on it too. Let me turn on this. And let's see. Come on. Oh, does that not? Yeah, it isn't. Hold on. Too much stuff. Too much tech stuff. Give that a second to warm up. That's not the button I wanted at all. I wanted this one. Yay. Okay. So that's a little palette here because there's gonna be a lot of hand painting tonight. So I figured I would throw this up on there too. There's Western Massacre. Yeah, so I've been talking with Cheese Grits and NyQuil about doing a cool little project. So talk to him next week about it, and then I'll definitely I'm planning on being able to show you guys what I'm working on with that. So that'll be fun too. Honey Rivera, what's up? If I missed anyone, hello. So we're gonna get right into it. So I can't show you because I'd have to peel it off the base, off the little holder that I have. But this was originally like a dark blue 3D print. I based the whole thing in Autoborn Sealer Black. That was the first choice. I should move the comments so I can see them. So I sprayed the whole thing with Autoborn Sealer Black. That just gives me a really nice surface to work on. And it also seals everything up too. So yeah, I'm going to move the comments here so I can see you guys a little bit easier. I don't have to keep leaning over and I won't miss as much. How about that? See, like Kyle Shees. Kyle, what's up, buddy? All right, so I have Autoborn Sealer on the palette here. It just looks like black paint, but it's Autoborn. So what I'm going to do is like these little spots here. Is that in focus? Here we go. So little spots where the gold like kind of is where it shouldn't be. I'm just going to kind of go over that with this. And now the gold leaf itself doesn't like to have paint put on it. It will almost kind of like resist it. You can kind of see it there. But that's okay, because once that dries, which it won't take long, the next coat will cover. So all I did was, this brush sucks. What's up with this? So these brushes, they're great, but when they start to fade out, this is what they do. They split like that. See it? So when that happens, I got to retire them. And it's almost new brush time because I'm out of them. So, all right. So this is just kind of running around this thing and just cleaning up any of the gold that's where it shouldn't be, really. I don't want to do too much of this because I noticed there's like not only gold sparkle, but there's like iridescent sparkle kind of all over the place here, which I'm going to leave. I'm not going to fix that because it kind of looks cool. So I've decided to leave the base black just so I can get this done. Do something special with the tag here. While we're waiting for that to dry, we can probably do that now. So let's do that. All right, so Wicked, Opaque, Orange, and White. So SprayGunner's colors are orange. So I'm going to use a little bit of Opaque Orange. Now, this is the new Opaque line from Createx. The Wicked colors, it's all opaque. But if I take this Opaque Orange, and I'm just going to do it right on the side here so you can see it. If I kind of paint that on there, you can't see it. It's transparent. So what happens is with this stuff, it is opaque, but it really is meant for airbrushing. So knowing that, if I'm going to like do the SprayGunner tag here, orange, I got to add some opaque white to it to kind of help it along. What else we got? Congrats on the wedding. Yay, I know. This is awesome. My little girl. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a hit and run, though. We'll be back. We're driving back Monday, so I'm going to try to do the feed with you guys, but there may be it may not happen depending on what time we can get out on Monday. So we'll see. All right, so the trick here is we'll see how this goes. What I'm going to try to do first is to just SprayGunner. Brain's not working. I'm going to try to see if I can just kind of paint in everything but the letters. Now the trick is if the paint is really wet, it's just going to kind of flow into there, into the letters. So I want to keep this kind of dry. And again, this is going to be orange, so I'm not looking for like crazy coverage right now. I'm just looking to put a little bit of a primer on this. So there's no way to really mask this off to get this to work. So this is probably believe it or not, the fastest way that I can get this done. And it doesn't have to be like brilliant orange either, because this whole thing is weathered. So if the orange isn't quite, 100% perfect, it's still going to look good. It's actually probably going to look better than if I had like, perfect orange on this. So as long as I kind of take my time and go easy, it'll work. Oop, I'm missing comments because I'm not paying attention. There you go. Yes, thank you, Deidre. You're awesome. And honey, for all those people who are putting in their suggestions, do put in your suggestions. Even if there is no feed next week, what I will do is, if I can't get back in time to do a feed next week, I'll give 2 paintings away the following week. So get your suggestions in, and everyone who's in will be ready for a painting next when we come back. I won't be able to get any 543s done for next week either because I'll be on the road. But like I said, there are so many on my website that plenty to enjoy. Don Quixote. It's a good suggestion. All right, so we'll see how this goes. I could literally spend an hour doing this, but once you see it, it's pretty much there. I mean, there's no surprises, so we might bounce around a little bit. The likelihood of me getting this done tonight is 0. Because there is a lot to do that's left on this, but it'll be fun. We'll get what we can get done. So on the outside, I'm not really worried about it because I can touch it up with the black. Even if I get, like if some paint drips down into the letters, I can still clean that up with the black. So I'm not worried too much about it, but I also don't want to, just flood this in here and then try to paint the letters. That would be tough because if I get, what I'd have to do that is I'd have to get really wet paint and just let it flow into the letters, which is great, but what may happen is it'll flow out onto the other side. So I don't know that that's going to be a great way to do it. Plus, if it's not even, if it doesn't flow throughout the letter, then I still got to go in and paint it. So I figured this would be the better choice. Although, it may be kind of a combination of both. So there we go. But yeah, even if you had a mask to get this lined up right, I don't know. Male pattern baldness eagle. You guys are awesome. All right, so let that dry a little bit. So up here now is dry where I did that repair. So I'm just going to jump in and do a little bit more black. So the other question is why wouldn't I airbrush this? Because I airbrushed it originally. I don't want to get anything on the gold. The gold is super sensitive to overspray and also just general, shenanigans. So I want to just use the brush because it'll guarantee that things stay clean. So that's it there. I think I want to hit the spray gunner one more time just to make sure. So we'll get it a little bit more white here. That's awesome. All right, yeah, a little bit more white. This will be very white, but this will really let the orange stand out. What I should have also used, it doesn't really matter. This is opaque white, right? Yeah, it's opaque white, but I could have used Autoborn Sealer white here too. That would have been a good choice because that stuff is really opaque. Wayne, you're never late, man. Wayne, I almost did your suggestion, but I didn't have enough time to do any paintings. But I have a creepy Halloween skull that's queued up and ready to go. So I may still do it because even though it's not going to be Halloween when I get it done, skulls are always good. So there's a 543 coming that will be a lot of fun. A little bit different for me. I want to have it kind of a messy painterly style type of thing. So that's going to be the next 543. I have it all ready to go. I just didn't have the time. But it was part of Wayne's suggestion last week was a jack-o'-lantern skull type image. So that's where I kind of came from. All right. That's good. That's going to be all right. Yeah, Brian, it's one of those things that I have all the time. So I would suggest starting out with Audubon Sealer Black and Audubon Sealer White, and also the clear, the 6000. Those are the three. If you love the stuff and get into it, like I have right here somewhere. Oh, where is it? Yeah, here it is. So they sell colors too. This is Audubon Sealer Blue, but they have all different colors too. So this stuff is amazing. The sealer is so good, and I use it all the time on all different kinds of things. So definitely worth getting. Plus, it allows you to paint on anything. And that's why I say, get the clear as well, the 6000, which I don't know where my bottle is here. Here it is right here. That's Audubon Sealer Clear. It's 6000. So if you're painting on raw metal, you just spray this on it, and then your paint will stick to the raw metal. It's really cool. Good stuff. Yeah, there you go. Cheese nose. All right, so I think all that's dry. I'm going to put the orange on first, and then I'll touch this up. So this would be a good opportunity to use Audubon Sealer Orange, but I don't have any, so we're going to use the opaque orange. We should be in good shape. I've also been remiss in sending out stuff. So there's an order or two orders that are hanging in the queue right now. One is for Honey, but she knows what's going on with that. I'm framing up her piece with a kind of a prototype frame. So I'm practicing the new frame with Honey. All right, so even there, see how like not orange that is? That's unfortunate. So we're going to make up an orange. It's going to be a lot stronger. So we will use red oxide because that's killer. A little bit of red oxide. And again, at the end of the day, this doesn't have to be like perfectly even. In fact, I don't want it to be. I want it to almost kind of look, Michael McClung, no problem, buddy. You're right on time. I want the whole thing to kind of look distressed. So I'm okay that it's not going to be like super perfect, So we'll grab some red oxide, which is very orange, and then just to kind of bump that back into the world of orange, use a little bit of gold and yellow. This should give me like kind of a rusty orange color. Yeah, that's better. So same thing. Now the nice thing about this application is, again, this color here is very transparent. So if I get this somewhere where I don't need it to be, like on the black, it's not going to show up. So I can be a little bit more speedy with this layer. So really the primer layer is the layer that I had to be careful with. This one can go a lot faster. I can just kind of like paint over the whole thing. But that gets me to orange, and I'm happy with that. Yeah, I mean, again, it's not caution orange. It's not super bright, but I'm definitely okay with that. Yeah, it pops out enough. And again, there's I think there's a little bit in the G where I kind of screwed up. So we can grab a little bit of sealer and just kind of clean it up a little bit, letting it flow in there. Yeah, the flow method would not work for me. Sean, what's good? What's happening, buddy? Take your time. I know you're good for it. Yeah, honey, it's going to be worth it. Yeah, I'm going to be actually working out I'm working out the frame for the old car, the fender that I just painted, the 8x10. But I had some ideas, and I needed to try them out, so I'm going to try it out on Honey's painting. But she's going to get a really nice frame out of it, so that's fun too. That's the other thing I thought of too. Last week we had the big Q&A thing, which is a lot of fun. There was some questions which I am super humble that you guys brought it up. I'm surprised. But back in the 2000s, I'm just switching over here. I wrote a book on how airbrushes work and how to kind of maintain them and that kind of stuff. So this is the book here. and it's how airbrushes work. And you can still get it. The publishing company sold the rights to it, so it's kind of like everywhere now. But you can get it on Amazon, which is fun. And it's still the same book. The only time-sensitive thing in it was we did a huge chart of all the available airbrushes, and at that time, so there are a lot of different airbrushes that are out now that aren't in this book. So if you kind of leave that section out, the rest of it is great. It's everything I taught in our intro to airbrushing class. So all that stuff is still relevant, and there's a how-to in the back on how to do this kind of one of the the Mickey Harris t-shirt designs that he used to have. The Mr. Blaster was what they were. He had a bunch of pre-made t-shirt designs that you could just cut out and spray your own t-shirts. So there's one of his sunsets in the back. So that's it. That's the book everyone was talking about last week, which is fun. Feel free to pick that up. I don't get anything anymore for that because they sold all the rights, but it's fun to have. Outlaw Josie Wales, that's awesome. Yeah, that's cool, Brian. Puppet from the Saw films. Sean, I don't think I've ever done that. We've done a lot of horror stuff, but I don't think I've ever done him. That's a good suggestion, too. You guys come up with the best stuff. And what I love, too, is you guys don't really repeat a lot, which is cool. I mean, I don't mind if you repeat, like, when we're doing stuff like what do I do a lot of? I do I do skulls a lot in 543s, but a lot of the planes and cars and stuff, there's some repeats. Some of the animals, like the dragonfly, was a repeat, but I love it because then I get to choose something else. All right, so you see how I did that? I'm not going to do the whole thing, or there's another one on the other side. I'm going to do that too, but I won't do that with you guys. You guys get the idea on that. So let's move on. I want to get since you guys are right here now. Let's move on to the strap. I'll show you kind of how I did the kind of leathery strap here. And again, it's a lot of the same kind of thing. It's just kind of mix and match. So I've got it based already on the side with this pinkish color, but I've got the yellow here. So this is going to be the next color. And again, I'll use a lot of opaque white to give me kind of yellow. And for this color here, this is going to continue to add to that the base coat really, but what I'm doing is I'm just kind of giving this strap kind of a grainy type feel. So I'm just putting these little streaks in it. So get a bunch of those in. I got to be real careful, obviously, not to touch anything else because, we don't want to be fixing everything. All right, I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to rotate you guys, and we'll get to the other side. Because I've got both ready to go. I don't want to do this. Let me lean this back a little bit and change the camera so you guys get better lighting here. That's better. So again, I've worked it out, or we're working out with SprayGunner. For the holiday season, they're going to give this away. And, we talked a little bit about how that was going to happen. And I think it's going to be a kind of, if when you guys place your orders with SprayGunner, you get a chance to win it type of thing. Although we talked about a couple different ways to do it. So keep an eye on SprayGunner for this. It's going to be fun. And I feel good that way because they gave this to me. Oh, shoot, I got yellow on the tentacle. I don't want that. So they gave this to me, which was really cool of them. So I thought it'd be fun to, give it back and have them be able to do some fun stuff with it. All right. So again, this just adds, it just covers the black and it gives me a base so I can get that brown on there. Again, the brown is super transparent. So if I just paint brown on there, it's not going to show up. So thanks, Brian. Yeah, I'm super happy with the goofy texture on him. Move this a little bit so you guys are more centrally located. All right, so I've got the bolt, the little screw, in the you know, in the head, whatever, strap thing. I don't know what to do with that, the color of that though. This thing, I almost want to leave it black because I get the brown and the orange and all that stuff. I don't want to go too crazy and have too many colors going on. Yeah, I think I might leave this black. Now, it's got all sorts of overspray on it, so I can't just, you know, leave it the way it is. So I think I'm going to grab some sealer. And the good news is if I try this and I don't like it, I can just do something else on it. So the sealer, again, this stuff is not meant to be paintbrushed. It's super opaque, but it's designed to be sprayed on and put on in layers. So when you paintbrush with this stuff, it feels transparent. It feels like it's not going to cover. So you just got to kind of be patient with it. Again, because we're asking it to do something it doesn't want to do, which is be applied by, you know, paintbrush. All right. And again, just be as careful as I can not to get anything on the parts I've already painted. The screw, you know, I mean, if I get black on the screw, I got to paint the other one anyway, so I'm not super crazy worried about that, but I thought I raised that up. It's so much fun. Like I follow a couple miniature, you know, like the miniature meaning the miniature figure painters, and I follow them mostly because they've done airbrush content. But it's interesting listening to the stories from them, how saturated that market is right now. It's basically everyone and their mom is doing it. So it's getting hard even for the big creators to, you know, keep that going. And that has been so popular for a while now. It's interesting. All right, so again, this is the game we're playing. I'm letting the yellow dry, but now I got to let that black dry. So you just keep bouncing around, you know. I did do a pinhead, yeah. Gary, I think, has it, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe doesn't. I don't know. Gary has so many of them. I lose track. All right, so my yellow is dry down here. That's good. Wait. Yeah, Steve, I did pinhead, so if we can get him to do the original 4, that would be Scary Cool Collection. He might be able to do that. Incidentally, Brian Dunbar was on last week. I'm going to switch cameras to this one. I dropped my Grex again and busted the back again. Look at the needle in the back of this. It got mangled this time. I feel so bad. I use this thing a lot. I mean, I don't feel bad that I use it a lot. This is the tritium from Grex, and I've got it set up with a 0.7 millimeter nozzle. So this gets so much use. This I use for Autoborn sealer. This I use for the when I'm clearing the 543s, when I'm putting the UVLS satin on them. I use this brush gun. I guess it's an airbrush, but it's still kind of like a spray gun. It gets so much use, but as a result, like I've dropped this brush more than any other brush I've owned, and it takes a beating, but yeah, I've done a good job on it. So I got to get that back up and running because I miss it when it's gone. I'll buy one and hold them as ransom. That's awesome. I know. I have. They're on the. They're all in the Visionaire stuff, like this guy right here. That you can see it on this camera. These are the little Visionaire. They have all these airbrush holders that just slide in anywhere you want. So I've got a bunch of those, and I've got one for a spray gun where the Grex is, but it doesn't stop me. It doesn't stop me from dropping them. So. And that's fun because when you drop like the Micron we talked about last week, it's a sad day, man, when that brush goes down. That's like, I keep saying it, that's like, hitting the curb in your Ferrari and when you have $4,000 aluminum wheels on it. So that's what dropping the micron feels like. Same thing with the infinity too. Like, go back. There we go. Come back on. Come back. Like the infinity too. Like dropping this is a bad day. However, you know, dropping the eclipse is a bad day too, but not as bad. You know what I mean? But it's part of, you know, it's part of operations around here. You know, it's just maintenance. All right, so the strap. So I've got all that cool yellow on there now, right? And you think, oh man, it looks crappy because it's got yellow on it. Well, it's a base coat. So I'll grab a little bit of this is just Wicked Brown. And now I can go in and start to put in these little stripes, these little, you know, just kind of paintbrush strokes. And they're dry. Like I let the paintbrush dry a little bit. So the paint kind of goes on unevenly. But that gives it this really cool kind of grain to it, almost like wood. Halfway to showtime, nice. Honey, that's a great question. I don't remember doing the cube, but I also kind of remember doing the cube. So that's a good one. Fortunately, you guys can't see it, but my website saves everything. So if I put a 543 up on my website, I can go back and find it again, even if it's gone. So I could go look. All right, so again, keeping this rough on purpose. I don't want it to look like rubber. I want it to feel like, you know, some sort of worn leather. Do I want to do that while I'm here? No. I'm going to switch since I've got brown rolling. We're going to rotate. I love this thing. I'm going to show you this one more time. I think I showed it to you originally, but if you're into this, I'm sure there are holders that you can buy that are awesome, and 3D holders and all that stuff. This I got from B&H Camera, I think, or Amazon, probably Amazon. And all it is this little elbowed clamp. It's designed to hold like whatever. I think I got it in the like photography area. So it's designed to go onto like a straight pole, and then this holds the other, whatever. But this thing is completely, like every part of it moves. It's all articulated. So when you loosen this little middle piece, it's on these, you know, kind of ball and socket type joints. So the whole thing moves all the way around. So I just made a little stand that clamps on. And then now this thing will clamp onto anywhere. So I've been clamping it onto my Vision Air down below. You can't really see that part, but so just the coolest thing out of nowhere. And I you know, it didn't work for the cameras that I was messing with, but man, it worked great for this. So I'm glad I didn't, like, you know, launch the thing. Get you guys set up again. It's not there, maybe. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, honey, if it sells and I've taken it down, you guys can't see it, but I can still look them up. So, but I don't think I did. That movie scared the crap out of me when I was a young and impressionable youth. All right, same deal here, just brown. Pull it out on the, oh, you can't see it. So on the palette, there's a wet drop of paint. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling it out onto like a dry section, and that removes a bunch of the paint and dries out the paint. Basically makes it more of a dry brush type of thing. If I just grab a big wet drop of paint, it's just going to kind of flow over the whole thing and make it brown. But I really want that kind of weird texture to it. Bug, what's going on, man? There we go. That's good. Let's switch back to the other side and we'll do the strap. Yeah, I like that strap black. You can't see it because this is super close. What if I do this sort of scenario? That's still really close, but you guys aren't like right on it. And it's, you know, not that you're, you know, you'll be able to get it. And I love how gold the gold is. That's the difference right there between gold leaf and gold paint. It looks like little chunks of gold down there because it is. I mean, it's basically just, you know, it's 23 karat gold. Can't beat it. There isn't a paint that does what that does. All right, so there's the black strap. I really like that. I like it kind of feeds into the whole tentacle thing. If that was like a real bright color, it would act like a stop. I was thinking about doing it orange, but yeah, exactly. It's like treasure chest, even though that was your suggestion, which is a good suggestion. That's kind of what it feels like. All right. So this guy here still needs to be blacked out. And I still need to do a little screw on this side too. And I touched this thing because there's a fingerprint on there. That's unfortunate, but okay. We'll get that. Yeah, Bug's been busy. Bug, have you got any closer to setting up your painting area? I know you're working on that. I hope you have. All right, so that's probably the first coat on that. It's going to need something else. But since I've got it here and it's ready, I'm going to put out a little bit of that liquid chrome too, because I only need to do that screw. And Patty C, I didn't see Patty jump on. Hey, Patty. Totally Diorama. What's up? Welcome. So Totally, I'm going to call you Totally from now on, forever and ever. The way it works around here is if you type 543 and then give me a suggestion for a black and white little painting, you are entered to win one next week. That's it. That's all you got to do. So I'm sure someone's going to do it at some point, so you can just follow their lead. Anything you want for black and white. And that's how you win a painting. So this is the Totally Chrome. Everything's going to be Totally now because of Totally Diorama. Liquid Chrome is awesome. That's the silver stuff. I don't want to use my Winsor & Newton brush, even though I could. It's just, it's alcohol-based paint, which I don't like to put my good brushes through. So I'm going to use this cheapo brush because I don't need to do anything fancy with it. With this, I just need to kind of let the chrome paint flow over that little screw, and that'll do the job. There we go. So there you go, Totally. Dan Mayer just made a suggestion for a 1968 Z28 Camaro. So that's all you got to do. And at some point, I don't think I have any here. I don't. I'll grab some for show and tell. Instead of, so for tonight's giveaway, I'll go grab a few random 543s so you can see them. A 1969 Z28. Dan, you can't take it back. I'm going to do a 68 now. Yes, Gary's true. That is true. They're 343s. Sometimes they're 143s. But hopefully things will get back to five a week. That takes 2 days to do. And just don't have it in me. Work until Thanksgiving at this point. Traveling December at this point. I'm hoping to use. All right, that's good. We'll hold you to that. So Dan, either 68 or 69 are both good years. So that's, we all win on that. That's what I wanted. I wanted a 60. Actually, I wanted a Firebird more than anything. But I would have taken a Mustang or a Camaro. So, all right. So that's good. That's good. What's next? Start working on the mask. Yeah, so we got the silver out. Oh, I didn't mean to do that one. Let's work on the mask. So the other thing I want to do for the mask silver are these clips in the front. Again, there is kind of a rhyme and a reason to it. So it's picking those like the silver and the orange, but just kind of spreading them out across the holder so they're not all concentrated in one area. Especially with the silver. The silver is so much fun to use. You want to use it everywhere, because it's a cool paint and it looks like chrome and all this stuff. And the problem is because it's so much fun to use, you end up using it everywhere, and then it looks like crap. So, and also I have water in there. What do you know? That's not ideal either. So I have to let that dry. Chuck, what's up? Chuck, I have never done an S64. That's a great suggestion right there, too. Hot Cup of Tea in a Book. That's a good one. And you can throw it in there. You can, throw your challenges in there. Some of them are obviously harder to pull off than others, but you know, if I see one that strikes me, I'll give it a whirl. And again, you know, they're black and white unless I'm feeling, you know, non-black and white. And then I have been known to throw color in some of them and gold in other ones and that kind of thing. A 350, also a great car. Oh, that's awesome. Is visiting the great state of Jersey. Yeah, it's very cool. I know Tim's on a hiatus right now while he gets a bunch of stuff done. It'll be good, good when he refires up his feed too. And you know, there's so many to talk about now. So I'll just, while I'm painting the silver in here, you guys can hopefully, I'll get you guys closer when it's done. But there's so many good feeds. You know, Cheese Grits and NyQuil. Western Massacre Lock Sport. If you want to see some cool lock picking stuff. And he brought all his friends over from the lock picking world too. So any of you guys who have a YouTube channel, please let people know. And then, you know, we have Michael McClung here, and we just talk about Timothy John McSmith and Scott McKay and all those fun people. So there's a bunch of great posts or feeds. All right, so that's the silver there. I got a little bit of silver on the mask. Why do I keep doing the wrong one? So I got a little bit of silver right there, but I'm going to clean that up when I paint the rest of it. All right, I've got the black there. I did the silver there. That's good. Thanks, Dave. Adam, welcome. See, there you go. Welcome, Adam. You're in now. Nosferatu. Cheese Grits keeps asking for Krampus. I do have a Krampus painting that's in as a 543. If you look up, I know because I looked it up to make sure I still had it. It's called "You've Been Bad," is the title of that. So you can type that in to my site and see that. But yeah, if you guys are just hanging around, or if you have multiple monitors like I do, because I'm psycho like that. If you go to my website and just type on the, you know, shop now, but then click the 543 category, you guys who are new can check those out. I've got a lot of them because we would do, like Gary had mentioned, originally I was doing 5 of them a week. So there are still a lot of them that are up there. I just took black and cleaned up a little bit of that. I feel good about that. So let's do one of the masks. And, well, what do we talk? Oh, we still got plenty of time. Yikes, this is awesome. I'm going to use sealer on this. So for the respirator cartridges, they're gray. So that's kind of the way I'm going to deal with that. They're in an actual respirator, they're kind of like translucent. But is that right? Yeah, that's right. Actually, that may not be right. Let me try this one. Kelly Drake, what's up? Oh, Gary, I thought I misread that. I thought it was, if anyone who used to listen to Dr. Demento, there is a, ow. There's another clown song that is similar to that is not safe for work. All right, let me try this sealer. This sealer white is basically right out of the bottle. The other sealer that I put out has reducer in it, so I don't want that. I want it kind of to be able to stand up. So again, these cartridges are going to be gray, but I'm going to paint them white. And again, it would be much easier to airbrush this. I'd get a little bit more even coverage and all that. But this is so close to the gold. I don't even take a chance because I can't put any kind of mask, like adhesive mask, on the gold leaf because it'll just pull the gold off. Or, I mean, at this stage, the gold has been, the the sizing has had plenty of time to cure, so it's really not going to come right off, but it's still really fragile. So, so instead of taking a chance and, you know, airbrushing and then having to relief those areas, I'm just going to use the paintbrush. And again, I want this kind of worn underwater look. So I'm going to, you know, I'm not worried about the brush strokes. I am worried about them in that I want to be able to see them. So I don't want them to be like, you know, I want them to go in a certain direction, but I'm not worried about seeing them, I guess is my point. This is no for certain, but the life of me, I could have sworn the cube was done. Yeah, honey, there's a real good chance I probably did do it. I weirdly have a memory of it. But if, you know, at this point, you know, if we're doing that, I'll end up doing it again. So again, this is sealer white on sealer black. So it's, you know, again, it's going to stick really, really well. It's just getting enough of it on there. I still want to keep it real smooth. Like, I don't want to flood this stuff on, because then it just takes away from the way that it sticks. It really is designed to kind of go on in even lighter layers. So I want to kind of do that with the brush as well. So it's the cartridge itself, the part that holds the filter in, is gray, and then the filter itself, which is right in the middle here, is going to be white. Oh yeah, Michael's coffee cup was awesome. So Honey had posted put up a post about coffee in the morning, and Michael used that image and painted it right on a coffee cup. So you can check out his YouTube channel to see some of his lives on that. It was fun. He's braver than I am. I mean, I like working on weird stuff, but coffee cups, I don't even know where I'd start with something like that. So there are going to be some areas that are going to be difficult to get into. I'm going to play to the strengths of the 3D print. So some of those areas, like in between, are going to be really dark, and that's the way they're going to stay. So I don't necessarily have to get paint in there as long as it stays dark, which is the beauty of using the black sealer in the first place. So all those little in-between areas, I don't have to get black paint in, you know, to kind of create those seams. They just kind of are there anyway. So here it is right here. Exactly, Chris. So this is going to go back to Artem as soon as I'm done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have some really nice photographs taken of it, and then I'm going to send it right back to him. And his team has already been going back and forth with me, so they're going to come up with a way to give it away. And it's probably going to be a more holiday-ish Christmas type thing, because I know they're working on their the Halloween airbrush holders, which are really cool. I know Patty's doing one, and I saw Dave Goldfarb was doing one too. So there we go. That's good. I like that. Totally, I didn't. This is it is 3D printed, but it's 3D printed by a company called SprayGunner. They're down in Tampa, Florida, and they are a big airbrush resupplier. So they have all kinds of airbrush stuff, but they also do cool stuff like this. So they sent this to me, and a lot of artists have been painting this holder. So when I got it, I figured I'd give it a shot. That's where we're at. And they're easy. It's just spraygunner.com. It's all one word. All right, I got to let that dry. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'll just rotate this and see what I can do on the other side. I guess I can paint in the other cartridge. Gary, that's awesome. Yeah, the Willies, that era, they're awesome. Like the quintessential. That's like, you know, like the 20s and 30s Fords. It's just quintessential hot rods. I love that. I didn't mention it, but when I was home for Keith Hanson's wedding a couple of weeks ago, you guys remember the GTO, the 69 GTO? No, sorry, 66 GTO that I painted, the red one. So over the weekend when I was home, I got to take a ride in it, which was a blast. We had enough time on Sunday, and the owner came by with it, and yeah, so it was fun to be in the actual car. And it was a beautiful day too, so top was down and everything. It was a lot of fun. Yes, Michael, I can wrap my head around the helmets, but coffee cups and making sure paint sticks to that, and you are braver than I am. So again, I'm keeping all the paintbrush strokes kind of going, vertical to the cartridge. It would be easy to go this way with these strokes, but to keep it all kind of feeling the same, I'm keeping it all, And again, these are going to look worn when I'm done too. I could throw a little bit of airbrushing. I really want to, but again, if I get any of this sealer on the gold, it just dulls it right out. So the filter, I'm not doing any kind of paintbrush stroke. I'm just kind of stippling it in there, because that's the way it's going to be in the end, because it's going to have to look like, like cotton. So really simple, just kind of like dab it in, and then now that's all I got to do. The filters themselves now are done. So we'll just be working on the gray part. There is a stinky bug flying around the studio, and he just landed in the palette. You see him up there? That is not the place to be, my friend. All right. Lovely. Good, this will be good. We'll let this dry. How are we doing? We still got 8 minutes. Oh, all right. We are going to be close on this. The other thing I haven't decided yet with this either is the very top of the holder. So the front of it, I tried that chrome, which was fun, but I cleared it with UVLS and it got dull, which I don't necessarily mind. So I may do that up here too, because that's the rest of the holder. For those who aren't familiar with how this whole thing works, you have your airbrush here, and it just slides right in here, and it's heavy enough that it can hold your airbrush. So that's the idea. Whoever wins this, I'll say it again. If it was mine, I wouldn't use it every day. I would put my favorite airbrush in it on the shelf. But if you do use it every day and get paint all over it, then that's cool too. But yeah. I gotta wait for that white to dry. I can't do much more with that. I got a little bit of chrome on that strap, so I can fix that while I'm waiting. It's got to be the same way. I can't just put the brown over it, because the brown is so transparent, it'll just look like chromy silver. I mean, brownish chromy silver. So I'll put the white on there, let that dry just a little bit, and then I can just go back in with the brown on top of that, and it's good to go. Also got to fix the chrome on this one because there's water in my brush. So we'll do that. The water, there was water in the paintbrush when I rinsed it out. I didn't dry the brush out before I put the chrome, dipped into the chrome paint. So the water, because it's alcohol based, the water and the chrome don't mix. So the water all came out of the brush and left a dull spot. So, ooh, that's definitely not going to work because I use that on the wet palette. So we'll just grab a little bit of chrome. Yeah, rusted chrome would be really cool. I have to put this on somewhere else. There we go. Much better. So now I can go back over this part here with the chrome, and it'll light up the way it should. That's just lovely. What am I going to do with this? The top of this thing. So in the wet palette, you can just barely see it over here. The right-hand reservoir, this one where my finger is, That's rubbing alcohol. So that's what you use with this Molotov stuff to clean it out. James, what's up? That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds really good. You know what? We're fine. I just saw the latest report on the hurricane that's ripping through Jamaica. So my thoughts are with everyone there. I hope they're really, really safe. It's crazy. I heard 200-mile-an-hour winds in that thing. That's insane. All right, so I think my masks are pretty much done, but already I'm digging the vibe. Again, I don't want that super slick. So again, these are going to be gray. So I'm just going to use the Autoborn Sealer black and white to make up a gray. This stuff sticks so aggressively. I mean, I could use opaque black and white. They'll be fine. But this just like Chris Arpin used to always say, it's just cheap insurance. Like if I can use sealer black and white, it's just going to stick so much better. Yeah, Melissa. Yeah, crazy what's going on there. So this is like oh, that's interesting. I never noticed that before. So whatever black is in the base coat, the Autoborn Sealer, is similar to the opaque black, because as I'm painting this gray on here, it's got a very like brownish cast to it, like tan, which is interesting. You guys see what I'm doing? Let's go here. Let's see a little bit better. I know, honey, I was just thinking that, and I was going to do that, but I noticed that the white was already dry. So I'll just go for it on this, and then we'll do the giveaway. We have, I think, 7 people on the list tonight, which is great. We had a lot of new people, which I'm super happy. Everyone who's, taken the time to share this and tell your friends, I totally appreciate that. The algorithm is a funny thing on all these social media platforms right now. And it's not, we live in a world of AI, bots, and artificial skewing of views and all that stuff. So your actual interactions now and forever will be totally appreciated, because sooner or later YouTube will figure it out, and then all those fake likes and those fake comments, they'll just get purged. And at least that's what the hope is for the actual content creators. Oh, this is lovely. Just worn enough. So what's going on is same thing. It's kind of a dry brush that's going on with the gray to let some of that white kind of shine through, and it gives it that kind of grainy look. So what I'm going to do, we have a couple minutes left, so I'm going to jump back in on the filter here and redo the same thing. I want that to stand out a little bit more. So again, kind of a dry brush thing, and just kind of tap it in there. And I've got the inset, it's inset into this piece, so I've got the edge of that to kind of help me out, so the white won't really go too much farther than that. And then when we come back after the feed, we'll do like a black wash on this in some of the areas to really give it kind of a beat up look. But that's pretty much where we're going. And again, the idea is, I don't have to move this because I don't have any paintings to show you. Yes, I do. I'll go grab some. I'm all over the road. So again, you look at the whole, talk about composition with the actual paintings, but it works with this too. You want repetition and variation. So I've got orange in the mask, and also it's going to be here. So you get a little bit of orange kind of mixed through. This iridescent silvery stuff pops up here and there. The deep chrome, same thing. The skull is by itself, the gold's by itself, but that's what breaks everything up. So it's all about, kind of like not making everything the same. All right, hold that thought. I'm going to go pick a couple of 543s just so you guys can see the new people can see what we're talking about with those. Thanks, honey. I'm learning. I'll be right back. All right. That didn't take long because I just went to the box and grabbed the first pile I could find. So these, for the new people, these are the 543s. They're five. Well, I used to do 5 of them, but they're all 3 inches by 4 inches, and these are all suggestions that people have made. I apologize for not remembering, who did what, because there's so many of them, but I do keep track of them. They do say on the website. If you make a suggestion and I paint it, I give you guys credit on the website too. So this BMX bike, again, they're all black and white. And if you want to see how I do them, the time-lapse videos, which are not going to happen tomorrow, but usually happen, I usually do the 543s there. So this is one of the rare color ones. I was going to say Terminator, Predator, B-24, Liberator. So whatever people can think of. This is a demo we did with Craig Fraser skull template, which was fun. This is the 1965 Plymouth Barracuda. This one, oh no, this one is available. Swamp, you threw me off on this one. I think Swamp wanted this one, but ended up picking another one. Wait, what's going on, Ian? What did I miss with Ian? Oh man, Ian. I can relate. Falling. And then this is one we did 2 weeks ago. Little spooky Halloween one. So yeah, so these are the 543s. There's probably close to 100 of them, maybe more, on my website right now. So if you win, there's a lot to choose from. You can just take your time and figure it out. Ian, Enzo, what's up? God, Ian, I hope things go real smooth, fast. All right, so here are, I was wrong, it wasn't 7, it was 5. So there are your 5 people. Raul, I have Raul on here again because I did a little bit of double checking, and even though I swore Raul had already won, he hasn't. So, yeah. So there we go. So there's the 5. So if you guys want in on that, you guys know what to do now. All right. Let's jump to this. Jump to this. I do have it right there. The 5. Your winner tonight. Number 4. I don't even remember who it was. Yay, Kelly Drake. Where are you, Kelly? Kelly, I thought you won too, but I went through the list and I couldn't find your name in the winner's circle. So if I'm wrong about that, Kelly, let me know, but I couldn't find it. So anyway, congratulations, Kelly. Raul, you are here. Good. Yeah, Raul, that was so weird because I swore you won. But then I'm like, wait, no, Raul didn't win. So Kelly wins tonight. Unless Kelly knows that she did already win, but she didn't because I went through the list. I have the list. I even have what people have chosen. So there we go. Yeah, Kelly's good. So Kelly, you know what to do. If you do win, when you guys do win, just send me a direct message on my website. Tell me what you want and where to send it, and I will get that done. Congratulations, Kelly. Yay. Incidentally, if you make a suggestion, I do put your name on it, and my website is really good at keywords. So if you type in your name in my website and I've done a 543 from your suggestions, it'll pull up all the ones I've done from you. So that's kind of fun too. Or, like whoever. You could pick Honey or, Sean or anyone. If I did a suggestion from you, it'll be in the keywords. I've also been I've also been getting better at putting those keywords in. So like when I do like a shark Like I'll put in, even if I have a weird title for it, I'll put in shark and, whatever kind of shark it is, tiger shark or whatever. So that way, if you saw something that I did and you're like, oh, like the cube, um, you could type in cube or Hellraiser, and then if I did my job, which I'm getting better at, you'll find it. So, all right, same thing. It's just that gray. We'll just hit this real quick. Yeah, yeah, that's what Gary's saying is true. Generally, for we've been doing this for about 5 years now, and everyone wins because we've had just the right amount of people. I mean, if the thing blows up, then that's not going to be the case. I would love it if it blew up, but right now you can see we're down to 5 eligibles. So that's the other thing for the new folks. If you can only win once per year, calendar year. So even though all these people are making suggestions, people like Gary and Patty and all the people that are making suggestions, they've already won. So they're just playing along because they're awesome human beings. Um, so so yeah, so there's that. Yeah, absolutely, and Jeebus. Like I said, I can relate in a minor way as I was careening down the basement stairs 2 weeks ago. So I had my I love my doctor. I had my just a follow-up checkup today, not on my back. I should have gone for my back, but I didn't because I'm dumb. But anyway, a bunch of other stuff. So anyway, I had my follow-up with my primary today, and I told him, I said, hey, I fell down the stairs, whatever. And we're talking about, what happened and all this stuff. And he just looks at me, he goes, so don't fall down the stairs anymore. I'm like, okay. So that's it. Oh, I didn't do the gray on inside sleeve. But I don't not like that. Michael, I finished it. I finished it yesterday afternoon. So I put the UVLS on it today, and I am on schedule with that one, which is really good because I got 2 other things coming up, which I will be able to share with you guys. I'm going to be working on a fun project with cheese grits and NyQuil, and I also have a goalie mask for my cousin that I thought would be fun to show you guys. So I liked that white on the cartridge so much that I'm just putting it in on this one. It breaks it up nicely. It's not so whatever. Yes, yeah. Sometimes, yeah, people do purchase them, which keeps the lights on, and I deeply appreciate that. All the 543s that aren't chosen are for sale, so you can knock yourself out. All right, so the gray is dry on here, so now I can start weathering a little bit. So there, if you've done any scale modeling or any kind of miniature painting, there's like a billion jillion different kinds of paint out there, and there's all kinds of extras you can get, and just tons. So if you know how the paint works, though, you can kind of make your own versions of it really easy, and not have to buy 10,000 different tubes of or bottles of paint. So for weathering this thing, I want to add like some gray staining to it. I'm going to use black, but I need something to thin that out without just using reducer. So that's where it's basically clear paint. It's not. It's like a UVLS clear that Createx makes. And those of you who have been around a long time know I use a lot of this stuff. It comes in 3 different sheens. There's gloss, matte, and satin. I usually clear my paintings with satin because they just look so good. But it works really great. I use it like a clear paint. So when I want to add like just like a real thin like kind of thing of black, instead of reducing the crap out of the paint, I'll use this this clear to kind of act as that agent. In fact, just because we were talking about it, I'll use, in this case, I'll use the 6000. This is transparent sealer. So this here is different than the clears. This is a clear primer. Think of it like that. So if you want whatever you're painting to show through the primer, this is what you use. It's clear. But it also works for this instance too. So I'll take a little bit of that on the palette, and I'll just touch the black and mix it together. And that gives me this really weak black. Now it's weak value-wise and strength-wise on the surface, but it is extremely strong. Like when I put this on and it dries, it's bulletproof. Where if I reduce the crap out of it, say I take a little drop of black and then add a ton of reducer to it, it's going to be really weak. If I put tape on it, it'll pull right up. This stuff here is bulletproof. So it's a great way to do it. And what's nice is now, instead of just dealing with whatever, you know, the company gives me, I can control the strength of it. So for instance, what I just did there, and this will go, oh, let me get you guys closer for this, because you got to be able to kind of see what's going on with this. There we go. Oh my God, I love this lens. So good. All right, let's get the light a little bit there. All right. So what's going to happen with this is it's going to, this color or this value is going to go kind of between the gaps, like where the edges kind of meet. But I just painted it on here and you can barely even see it. So that's not great. Now, if I was buying it like pre-mixed, sorry about that, I don't have the mic on. If I was buying it pre-mixed, I'd kind of be stuck with that. I'd have to re-reduce it or thin it out somehow. But since I'm making my own, just with the clear and the black, I can just add more black to it to get it to be a little bit stronger. So it's really versatile. And again, it seems like a lot of chemistry when you get into it, but really once you get the hang of it, like, oh, this is clear and this is, you know, this is the paint or whatever, it actually will come together really fast and be more versatile for you in the long run. All right. So that's perfect. So now basically anywhere where this rolls under a little bit, I'm going to give it a little bit of this kind of wash. And also down near the edges to kind of give it that beat up kind of worn look. So corners and edges are what I'm working on now. And again, this is fairly dry, so it gives it kind of a streaky look, which is just what we want. Honey, have a great night. You're awesome. Richard Bernier, welcome. And great suggestion. Wait, hopefully you're going somewhere fun, honey. All right, now we'll do the top, and you guys will see the top a lot better because of the lighting. And again, if I overdo this, if I say I have too much black in it, I just add more transparent whatever. And I say whatever because this will work with the UVLS. This will work with the transparent sealer. It's, each of those things have a specific job in the lineup, but doesn't mean that's all you can use it for. Once you understand what it's used for, you can mess around with it quite a bit. And that's what makes it fun. So down here too, and again, I'm just fairly dry. I'm just using it to put these little paintbrush strokes in here. Again, mostly in the corners and edges to kind of give it that beat up, worn look. I like it. It needs something else though. The gray is cool, but it just kind of hangs there. Needs another color. So again, you guys can barely see it here. I've got like yellow on the skull. You can't really see it on the tentacles, but I've got green on the tentacles. So the one thing I don't have a repeat on, if I slide this over, is see the blue veins in the tentacles? I don't have any other blue in here. So we're going to use blue as my kind of tie together color. Same deal here. I've got let me pick a blue. Let's go with, we'll go with daylight blue. So I'll put a drop out here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the sealer as the kind of the clear paint here. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit of the blue. Actually, I took too much blue, so I'll just add a bunch of the transparent sealer to kind of knock that back. And now I'll just kind of go over the thing. This might be too light. I mean, too transparent. It is, but that's good. I'd rather have it that way than too much. So just add a little bit more blue to it. Same thing. I want to be kind of streaky with this. And I want to just kind of hint at that blue in here. The more colors you add, the more realistic it gets. Complex colors are really what we see all around us all the time. So things look fake when you just use the straight out of the tube. The only thing that are that color are like man-made things. That makes sense because the paint is man-made. But like things like road signs and let me rephrase that. Like a road sign at high noon, is whatever color it should be. If it's got any kind of, weird lighting like sunsets or whatever, it's going to change. I didn't do the black on this side. Well, we can do the blue first. It's fine. This blue really shows up mostly where the white streaks are. It doesn't really show up on the gray, which is even better. Because again, it just makes it more complex. It makes it look more, more real. And again, the trick here is tying the blue and the veins together with the front of this thing by including blue in this a little bit. And your brain picks that up because our brains love patterns. Humans are a funny animal that way. They really love patterns. So if you start putting, subtle patterns in your work, it makes it more attractive to us, Homo sapiens, which is fun. It's your superpower as an artist. You can direct someone's attention around your work by those little tricks, and it makes for a fun time. All right, so I'll get the black on here. It's looking good. What else we got to do? I so want to use more silver on this. All right, we're using more silver because I want to. That little circle down there, that's going to be silver too. Why? Because I want to, because it's fun. And this chrome paint is insane. There we go. That's it. No more chrome, period. None, zero. I can't use it anymore on this. Because like I said, it's addictive. It's so shiny and cool that you want to use it on everything. And then by the end, you're like, I shouldn't have done that. We are really, really close here. I like that strap. The strap needs a little bit of something too. Let me readjust this here so you guys can see what's going on. So there's all that yellow and brown. Still need something else. What does it need? Green. Ron. That's a good one. Yeah, Chris, you're going to have a great time in SEMA. That's awesome. Yeah, we're doing green. I don't know why, but I want to do green. So again, everyone has their favorite colors. Green is, the moss green is mine. Same deal here. I want to grab a little bit of the clear and just mix the green in. But this time I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the green. So I want this to show up a little bit because I'm going to do little tiny streaks throughout. Now what's nice about this, again, it's complexity of the color. Moss green has a lot of yellow in it, which these bands have a lot of yellow in them anyway. And so it'll go really well over that. Plus the green mixes with the brown really well. So you get this kind of rotten leather type look, which is just what we're looking for. Let's do the other side. Ugh. Good. This, I don't have as much brown in, so I gotta be careful with this. So I'll put a few little bits of green and then I gotta hit it with again with the brown because I didn't hit it as dark as it should. Elroy's Toys. What's up, Elroy? Elroy is one of the lock pickers. All right, so I'm going to add the brown back in just to kind of catch it up to the other side, but it's pretty much there. Again, I'm just seems like I'm throwing this in here. I am trying to be careful not to touch anything that I shouldn't, but I think it's pretty much there. Let me back you out to the overhead, and then I'll move this out a little bit. So I still don't have a solution for the top of this thing. But it's also to the point that I don't know that it really bothers me that much either. What I'm talking about, again, if you missed the beginning of the feed, is this piece right here, this part of the holder. It's black right now. Yeah, I don't know that it, you know what, it actually doesn't bug me, and I think I know why. For the same reason. So we're, compositionally, again, the gold is kind of interspersed throughout the whole thing, which is nice. It's broken up really nicely. Then the same thing with the orange. So I get the orange there, and I'll eventually have the orange on the spray gunner. So I've got that in 3 areas. The black, I have the base is black and the eyes are black, but that's it. So by leaving the rest of the airbrush holder black as well, that kind of finishes the little triangle. So I think that's going to be, I think I might leave it. Actually, that's focused, so you can see a little bit. This camera has much better color than the other one, so it'll give you a better idea what it looks like. But that's what we've got so far. So I'm feeling really good about that. Again, I'm going to finish the spray gunner on both sides. It's on this side too, but I won't bore you guys with that. You kind of saw how I was going to do that. But even there, it might not be orange enough. I may hit that again and see if I can get that to pop a little bit. And then the only thing left to do really is just some cleanup work. I did want to do some more work on the little suckers, which I might do. And then finally is clear coating this thing. So I won't take you on that journey because it's kind of boring. But what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to spray the tentacles with the gloss clear, which is the UVLS, the 4050. So that's, and I don't have to be perfect with it. I will use like a handheld shield, like one of the Art Tool shields to kind of block off, like the gold and stuff. So, and I won't get too close to the gold anyway, just on the parts that really pop out and that kind of thing. And I've also got a coat on there anyway. And then the skull, I want to leave that matte. So I'll use UVLS matte on that. And then I'll decide on the respirator. I kind of like the way the orange part is glossy. So I'll probably hit that with a little bit of gloss. That stuff you can brush on too. It's not ideal, but in an instance like where I don't want to get any overspray on the gold and I can't mask the gold, I also don't want to get any overspray on the silver because it kills the silver too. I'll probably just hand brush the clear on the mask to make it easy. So that kind of thing. So that way the whole thing's protected, but it'll still give me these cool variations in the sheens of this thing. So that's what I got. That's all it is. Oops, I don't want that one. I want that one. So if you are new and you haven't put in your 543 suggestions, please do that before we shut down. Again, there may not be a feed next week. But even if there isn't, I will compile all those names and we'll give away 2 paintings. We'll give away 2 paintings on the following week. So that way we'll still keep the streak going. Well, actually, we can't do that because if I don't have a feed next week, I won't have names next week. But in any event, if you guys are making suggestions, we'll give away paintings. So we'll do it that way. And who knows, I might be able to get on and do something next week if I can get back in time. So that's what I got. So the only other real thing, super important, the sale is going on right now. You can save 20% off of everything, including those 543s. Just use the code FALL25, and that's good for just this month. It ends at the end of the week. So get a hold of that and get that done. And that's what I got. So For Steve Leahy and Monday Night Live, you guys are the best. Thank you for all coming by and hanging out. And yeah, I'll see you guys all next week. Have a great one. Oh, you get the shameless plug of the book too. Damn it. Oh well. Have a great week, guys.